Okay, so now the war's over. The Soviets have been defeated. They've left. Great. Now what? Now what is going to be the end result for what's life going to be like in Afghanistan? What's the reaction of the American government going to be now that this war that they've sponsored is now coming to an end? That's where this clip comes in.
That the era of Soviet military intervention in other countries is now over.
Well, I've told you.
Told me what?
All we had to do, shoot down the helicopters.
Listen, not for nothing, but do you know the story about the Zen master and the little boy?
Oh, is this some from Nitsa, the Greek witch of Aquilippa, Pennsylvania?
Yeah, as a matter of fact, it is. There's a little boy. On his 14th birthday, he gets a horse. And everybody in the village says, how wonderful, the boy got a horse. And the Zen master says, we'll see. 2 years later, the boy falls off the horse, breaks his leg, and everybody in the village says, how terrible. And the Zen master says, we'll see. Then a war breaks out, and all the young men have to go off and fight, except the boy can't because his leg's all messed up. And everybody in the village says, how wonderful.
Now the Zen master says, we'll see.
So you get it.
No, because I'm stupid.
You're not stupid. You're just in Congress.
Send them money.
You can start with the roads, move on to the schools, factories.
Gus, now it's a party.
Restock the sheep herds. Give them jobs, give them hope.
I'm trying.
Yeah, well, try harder.
I'm fighting for every dollar.
Yeah.
I took you from 5 million to $1 billion. I broke the ice on the Sting and the Milan. I got a Democratic Congress in lockstep behind a Republican president.
Well, that's not good enough, because I'm going to hand you a code word classified.
Okay, so what he's getting at here is that he's going to be giving him information that, hey, you know what, the Civil War is breaking out, and there's an awful lot of religious extremists who are coming in and who are going to, start to rule things. By the way, bonus points to you if you recognize the story from when we earlier talked about Taoism. So they're celebrating the Soviet loss here. And the point that he's going to be making is that what is left behind in Afghanistan now? 50% of the population is going to be under the age of 14. They're going to not have any homes. They're not going to have any jobs. They're not educated. They're at an extremely impressionable age. And you're going to have a bunch of religious extremists who are going to be ultimately running the show now. That's what's left behind in Afghanistan. And the question is, okay, well, what are you going to do to fix that? Are you going to rebuild roads? Are you going to build schools? Are you going to do things to help that population? Or are you just going to get up and leave? And that is where the fourth clip comes in, where Charlie Wilson is now going back to his friends in Congress and is trying to convince them that, hey, you know what? Yeah, the war's over, but we need to continue spending money here. We need to continue to get funding for things like schools, for example, to make sure that the children here are going to be taken care of. And this is their reaction.
Did you hear me say it was $1 million, not $1 billion, for school construction?
We heard you. Everybody heard you, buddy. They heard you in Dover, Delaware.
Well, I sure hope I'm not annoying you, Bob, because that's the last thing I want to do.
Look.
I was in the Roosevelt room with the president last week. You know what he said? He said Afghanistan. Is that still going on?
Well, it is. Half the population of that country is under the age of 14. Half the population is under the age of 14. Now, they're going to come home and find their families are dead. Their villages have been napalmed.
And we helped kill the guys who did it.
Yeah, but they don't know that, Bob, because they don't get home delivery of the New York Times. And even if they did, it was covert, remember? This is what we always do. We always go in with our ideals and we change the world. And then we leave. We always leave. But that ball, though, it keeps on bouncing.
What?
The ball keeps on bouncing.
We're a little busy right now reorganizing Eastern Europe, don't you think?
We've spent billions. Let's spend $1 million on HR 118 and rebuild the school.
Charlie. School in Pakistan.
Afghanistan.
That just kind of shows, the just the feelings of Congress at that time, that hey, you know what, we accomplished our mission, and now we're done. He didn't even realize that it was in Afghanistan. He thought they were talking about Pakistan. The spending goes from $1 billion that was going towards weapons to fight the Soviets to these guys refusing to send $1 million to build a school to help out the, again, 50% of the population that was under the age of 14. That's the reality of what was happening after the war was over in Afghanistan. So, why does Afghanistan become such a place of religious extremism? Well, just have to look at the aftermath of the Soviet Afghan War. And to be quite honest, we played a role in that as well. All right, so now that we have that done, we're going to take a look at how the Taliban actually does rise to power in the next video.